this is going, so I just got a little bit nervous. It's going to be real. Tonight is going to be a little different for those of you who have not watched one of these one-on-one sessions. I do fitness and mindset coaching, and we have been streaming live mindset coaching sessions to inspire and help other people who may, want to see what this is all about. And I've had some amazing clients who have volunteered to do this with me. It's scary to be vulnerable and share on a live stream. So I'm very grateful for that. My mission is to empower others to be radically transformed into the person that God created them to be. And I truly believe that when you transform your mind, your body will follow. I am on a journey myself, and my radical transformation absolutely took place by working on my mindset. So I'm excited to invite Sara. She's a client, but also a co-host, and she's also helped me coach clients. And this is a really special evening, and I'm just so grateful you're here, Sara.
Thank you so much for having me and for providing a platform to actually have this conversation. Because I think it's a difficult conversation for a lot of people to either navigate if they know of someone or if they're experiencing this themselves.
Yeah, I want to be honest real quick, because I like to be honest. For a long time, I'm gonna tell you, like, all the Zooms that we had, I didn't know why you didn't have kids. And I really didn't know how to ask or bring it up. And I had no idea. I just knew, well, 'cause some people choose to not have kids. I have a lot of clients who have no desire to have kids. And I never asked, and I didn't know. And I'm just really grateful. I don't think this is talked about enough. And so thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, because I know every time we do this, there's someone out there that needs to hear what is said. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You want to just jump right in?
Sure. Where would you like me to start?
Okay. So this is not a regular mindset coaching session. This is a special episode. And ultimately, we want to help people and give people hope that are struggling in silence. We want to be a voice. I struggle with addiction and suicide and all kinds of different things. And so we want to bring as many vulnerable topics to everyone that we can. Okay. So
yeah. Okay. So let's just.
Okay. Yeah, I prepared. Okay. My first question.
Go ahead. First question.
Actually, I don't ever prepare, but I prepared. Okay. Can you share how your journey with infertility has impacted you emotionally and mentally?
Significantly. That's the word that comes to my mind. It literally changed the trajectory of my life. This is going to be an emotional conversation tonight. So it changed the trajectory of my life because I always had envisioned having the white picket fence and, 2.5 children, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. I am the oldest of 4 children. And I grew up with all the baby dolls. I never dealt with Barbie. I just wanted Baby Alive, Baby That Away. If anyone, is old enough to remember any of those dollhouses, like I dressed my cat up and took her out in the buggy and walked her. Like it was just a part of me and my identity growing up that I just knew that I wanted to be a mother. And that led me down the path also for my degree as a nurse. I only went into nursing to be an obstetrical nurse to deliver babies. And then to find out, I'm a late bloomer. So I graduated nursing school when I was 30. I fell in love with my husband at 33. We got married at 35. I thought, this is awesome. Everything's in place. Only to find out after a year of trying that both of my tubes were completely and utterly blocked. So there was no chance. And actually, I had to have an ovary and my tubes removed. And then about a year and a half later, ended up with a hysterectomy and tried to save at least one ovary because it was the only one I had left. And of course, that didn't end up staying. And so the reason that I say this is because involuntary childlessness can be a very difficult pill as far as an identity as a woman in society to swallow. And it took me a long time to come to terms with who I am, finding myself again. Because I had believed, and so I was crushed.
And this is kind of a little bit off topic, but for those of you who don't know, Sarah's lost 100 pounds and kept over 100 pounds and has kept it off. How many years now?
Mm-hmm.
A while.
Coming up on 3, almost 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 4.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you before. Was your weight a struggle then?
So interestingly,
I'm just like wondering if you fluctuated. Yeah.
Yeah. So my weight was an issue prior to me dating and getting out there. And then once I lost some weight, when I started dating my husband, and then, because you want to look all nice and presentable and attractive, and the newness is all there. And I maintained, not where I am now, but I maintained a healthy weight for a while until this happened. Yeah.
I was just curious, as far as your health journey, what that looked like. That was the time in your life when you were a healthy weight, which it sounds like you were. So what are some of the most challenging emotions that you've experienced while going through this?
I think the most challenging was in the beginning, anger and grief. And it was a complete roller coaster. It never ended. And it was because of experiencing those emotions and the feeling of loss of who I was caused me to drink a lot, caused me to overeat, caused me to make a lot of decisions that negatively impacted my health, mentally and physically. And I compartmentalized everything. I shoved it down. On the outside, people, they're like, wow, I can't believe, you're still delivering babies. Like, I would fall apart.
That's what I was wondering. Like, how did you look on the outside if people noticed that you were struggling so bad with the news? Did you blame yourself? Anybody? Was there any blame involved?
I blamed God. Why me? I became the victim in the story. Like I had done something wrong. There was just a tape over and over. I was constantly trying to search out and find a reason why this happened to me.
Yeah, because don't you think if you know the reason, it's a little bit easier to process and accept and move on. If there's like a reason,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it's not easy, but it's like, okay, if I just know the why, then I can move on. Because I can imagine in the wonder, well, what did I do wrong to deserve this? Like, what am I being punished for?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was on continuous replay all the time. I mean, there would be periods where it didn't well up, but it was always there. I mean, and working full time in 12-hour shifts, I mean, constantly being called in. I was being surrounded in my profession, helping women deliver babies at the most joyous time, in their life, or supporting them, because I mean, not all deliveries are joyous. And I think, and that brings up an interesting point too, that I was constantly searching for something to take my mind off of the feelings that I was experiencing. And I did become very heavily involved in the bereavement process. So when there was patients who were there who were going to be delivering a baby that was born sleeping, I wanted to be in every single one of those deliveries. Every single one. And I still have keepsakes from all of those baptisms, pictures, cards that individuals still send me, because I believe I believe that, which I didn't know then, but I believe that was a way for me to have or be involved in, or in an environment where I was able to provide compassion and empathy for someone who is losing their child. Even though I was childless, every baptism, every prayer that was said in those environments healed me.
Well, it gives you purpose, right? Like, you understand their sense of loss to a degree, and then there's connection involved, and everybody needs a purpose. And yeah, that filled that void, and it's almost too, it was maybe a form of like self-punishment, like over, I don't know, like sometimes we punish ourselves and like, okay, let me put myself through this over and over and over, because it's hard and emotional, and to continue to do it is really hard. I don't know, just something to think about. We haven't really talked about Jeff. So how, because I think, like, what did he experience a sense of loss? I mean, because we don't think about the guy in this situation losing the opportunity to have their own child.
So that's interesting, and thank you for bringing that up, because you're right. With Jeff, he was more concerned about me because of my response. He just wanted to have a life with me. And we talked at length about it, because we met later on in life, and he was like, I'm okay. He'd already come to
that he had accepted that he might not have kids. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Even when we met. And so he had already had that conversation like within himself, so it did not affect him as maybe it would affect other individuals. He was just more concerned about about me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how I was taking it. And sometimes he would make even comments to try to make me feel better.
Mhm.
That didn't necessarily make me feel better.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was a lot of that from a lot of different people. I mean, they meant well. It wasn't malicious in any way, shape, or form, but because and I had a very difficult time opening up, even sharing my feelings.
Mhm.
And I had not ever truly been open with my needs with other individuals,
Yeah.
which then just compounded the issue, because I had expectations like, you should know this, you should, and no, they shouldn't. They're not mind readers. Nobody is. Yeah.
Can we hang out there for a minute? Because that's something we talk about in our mindset coaching stuff. So Sara helps me with my mindset coaching. She's been with me the longest out of the, and she was like one of my very first clients, and her transformation is incredible. And she's passing this gift on. It's truly a gift. Anyway, we talk about most people get upset and hurt because of unspoken expectations not being met. And I'll share with you, when I went to trauma treatment, it shocked me when the counselors kept saying, great job on knowing what you need. Great job asking for what you need. I never heard a counselor do this, but she was celebrating the people in the group who could tell you what they needed and when they needed it. Sometimes people don't know what they need. And I didn't realize that was a thing to be celebrated. And we get upset with our spouses or our friends or family members for not saying the right things or loving us the way we need to, or consoling us, but they don't know what we need, so they're guessing and giving their best effort. So looking back, if knowing what you know now, and maybe someone like currently going through this, how can they tell people what they need, and what do you think they need?
My advice to individuals would be to literally verbalize any emotion that you're feeling and say, I'm feeling. Using the I statements is extremely helpful, because then no one can argue how you're feeling, but if you make me feel, then it's placing judgment, it's placing blame on another individual. But being truly open and honest about what you need. And I think, but it's interesting that we're even having this conversation, because with society and how women are raised, we're raised to be very independent women. We're raised to be nurturers. But no one seems to pass it along to other individuals, how to nurture ourselves. It's always caring for others.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, you don't even know what you need in that moment. You may not know what you need.
Yeah.
So let's give them some examples. I think this will be helpful. What I've learned, because I think anybody who's gone through trauma or who's struggling with grief or the emotional roller coaster of ups and downs and communicating their needs, that could be, for me, it's, I just need you to listen. I want feedback, or I don't want feedback. I just want to vent. I need to be alone. I need a hug. I need some words of encouragement. I need
your support.
Yeah, distraction. Let's go do, those are different things that can change your energy. Or I need to just cry. Because you can't heal what you don't feel.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming as you stuff and you're trying to be strong, and then feelings get hurt because Jeff didn't say the right thing, or maybe your mom or whatever, they weren't what they needed to be, and you didn't even know what you needed them to be. Then that could lead to the overeating. That's where the weight, alcohol, the numbing, shopping, any kind of distraction to change the way you feel, because you don't want to go through the process of feeling. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, no, that's 100% accurate. And that's also, it became a driver for a lot of my education.
Tell me more about that. What does that mean?
If I dove into this certification, that certification, took on this learning opportunity, doing this research, gaining a higher degree, all of those took me away and focused me specifically, head down, nose to the grindstone, get the grades, do all this, where everything else fell away.
And then did you get a sense of accomplishment and self-worth, and it made you feel good about yourself if you're achieving things with education? No. But did you keep thinking, did you think it would?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't regret any of the education.
Yeah.
I got.
I mean, you turned to something good. Most people would, unhealthy. So, I mean, that's good. You are very well educated.
But it's interesting. It's interesting. I just wanted to interject that with the one key poignant piece that did flip my mindset and kind of the slap in the face moment for me when I was very first dealing with grappling. I wasn't even dealing at the time, so I shouldn't be using that word, but I was trying to grapple with the idea that I will never have children. I can never have children. I am barren. This is who I am now. So I was grappling with that, and then ended up having to have the hysterectomy. So now there's nothing.
Like all hope is gone.
Right. So, well, yes, exactly. All hope is gone at that point. And my mother came and she stayed with me for 2 weeks. My husband was extremely thankful for that. Because she dealt with me. He let her do all the stuff. But anyway, but it was interesting because after she left, we had a conversation on the phone, and I had a come apart, and I was just bawling my eyes out. I couldn't even speak. And my mother, in her wise wisdom, said, okay, catch your breath. Do you release that? Because I want you to hear this. Your uterus does not make you a woman. And she repeated that 3 times. Because I had tied my identity to that organ. So that was the best thing she could have ever said to me. Yep.
So if there's someone out there listening that has someone in their life that maybe just found out, that's something you could lean into, because I'm not sure that I would think of that unless you told me, oh, well, I feel this way. I wouldn't know to make sure that you knew that, right? If my daughter came to me and she couldn't have children, I'm not sure I would think to tell her that. And so I think that would be helpful for someone who maybe has a loved one that's going through it, to make sure that they know that that does not define their womanhood.
Because we do, because my whole identity, right? Like I had said, my mom knew that growing up, that I wanted to have children, that I was an obstetrics nurse. Like she knew that was something that I had predetermined, right? I had it all done. I knew my future. I saw it. I visualized it. Like it was happening. And yeah.
Did y'all think about adoption?
We did. We did. Our conversation around that, we thought about it. There was a lot for us. It's almost like individuals who go through infertility. I'm not correlating and making them the exact same, but individuals who go through infertility treatments, I mean, it's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes the woman's hormones, and their body changes. It doesn't even become their body anymore, just for conceiving. And then there's the mental aspect, the psychological support that they need going through that. And there's a lot of loopholes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to fillet yourself wide open in applications.
Yep.
And be approved and, run through the rings. And then it's like, would it be here? Would it be overseas? And so, and at that time when we came to that discussion, we were even older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to decide, is that really something we want to put ourselves through?
And so we decided not to. And we decided, this provides us an opportunity to actually be the really cool aunt and uncle.
Okay, so you flip perspective.
Without knowing it, we did. Yeah. Really, yeah. We'll just boil them to death and, pump them full of sugar and send them back.
It's great. It's great. We get to, that's great.
We get a dose and then we get to sleep. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
Yay. I knew you would be back.
I don't know what happened, but okay, not today. When was there, and I'm kind of just think, because we've never, as like, you're one of my best friends and we haven't got to have this conversation. So I'm kind of like going off my questions, but I'm curious. I know Mother's Day is still hard for you. I know certain things like that are still a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a shift, or like after a certain period of time, that those things didn't hit you as hard, or you weren't quite as sensitive, or does it still feel the same now that it did then?
It's still the same.
It is.
It's still the same. But it's like any loss, the loss and the heartache when an individual passes away, right? The loss and the grief that you experience, it never goes away. The intensity of the sensation, of the emotion, of the feelings can diminish, but it's always there. That's an interesting conversation, because I think one of the things that I struggle with, and it used to trigger me, was that individuals assumed that because I did not have children, that I would be the one who would work for other individuals for all the holidays, for Halloween, for, and I love Halloween. Like I was the person who would dress up in costume along with my dog, and we would meet all the trick-or-treaters, and
Oh,
I'd
I
have
can see you
individual
doing fun.
bags pre-done and hand them
Yeah.
out. And so all the kids in the neighborhood used to love to come to our house. My husband was like, "Oh God, here we go again," right? But they did, and so I was one of those people, and that's why I saw a lot of the kids growing up. But I've heard that, and I experienced it myself, that just because individuals don't have children, I think that's important to put out there, doesn't mean that like they're the go-to person, or just because someone chooses not to have children, and it's not necessarily an infertility issue.
Yeah.
Like they just choose not to have children does not preclude them from also enjoying certain holidays. Yeah.
That's good. But I could see that somebody just would assume that and then want to tiptoe around that and then not include you, because they don't want to trigger you. But you're saying it's the opposite, include and let them decide whether they want to say yes or no. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I lost friendships
good.
over the years with this as well, because if they became pregnant, they were tiptoeing around because they didn't want to offend or share, because they were afraid that would trigger me, and so they were making assumptions.
Mhm. Yeah. And we're really close, and I have 4 kids. Has our friendship or me, and I don't talk about my kids a whole lot. So maybe that's why I was meant to be your best friend. I just don't. I'm just not the mom who does. So we're a great fit. I'm answering my own question, like, well, I don't say much about my kids. I love them, but they don't consume me. So, but that aside, have you had close friendships that was kind of a trigger for you, or I mean, how could it not be? Like, I don't know. You tell me. Like, how do you navigate through
No, no, it was not. It was never a trigger for me.
it?
But I think it made them feel uncomfortable.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was
It wasn't
more
me.
mhm. Because you're not a jealous person. I can't see you being like, oh, well, I'm mad at them because they have something that I'll never have. I don't, you're not that person. But I know some people do struggle with that. Like, it's like, why did they get to have the life I wanted to? You know, that can be a challenge among friends. Uh, okay. So during times like, I know Mother's Day is hard for you. What are other times of year are hard for you?
Oh God. Back to school.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it can be, because it's just the the influx. So here's the thing with that though. So I want to be careful with this, because I don't want people to think or to assume anything. But with the advent of social media, it is a wonderful thing, but individuals can fall into, if they allow themselves to be triggered, or they get triggered by certain things, they can get into a comparison game, right? Or it can evoke emotions because they're seeing all of the great things, like they have the great family life. This is what, it's somewhat similar to what I had envisioned. And I've fallen into that and gotten depressed. So yeah, Mother's Day and back to school. Those are the only two that.
And I'm asking because I want to know, like, when maybe I need to, like, ask you if you're okay, or because I wouldn't think about that, like, because I want to be a good friend and be sensitive to that, because I can't say, like, the last Mother's Day that, you know, we were friends, I didn't even think about it. I just didn't think about it. And it wasn't because I don't care. I just have never experienced a friendship where someone struggled with that. So if you have that's why I want to know, for me, like, how can I be a good friend during those times, knowing that I do have 4 kids, and how can I be sensitive to you and be there for you during those times of year?
I think there's a two-way street, though, because the individual who's walking the path of infertility also has to feel comfortable enough, right, to be vulnerable and open and talk about it.
And you did,
because
like, you did.
Truly, this is the first time that we're getting in depth and talking about this.
Oh yeah. I didn't know Mother's Day was happening but you kind of shared that with us, and so I'm very grateful, because I would not have known.
But I think that if you do know that an individual is going through infertility, I think a great way to initiate a conversation with them is, help me understand your perspective. Because that invites you into their world and also allows them to hear that you care and you truly want to know, basically, how to support them better. So just help me understand your perspective.
Like, don't be scared.
Open communications. Yeah, there's no assumptions. It's like, it's allowing the individual then to share what they need or what they feel comfortable in sharing.
We've the questions have just gone. I'm processing what you said. I mean, this is very. I'm thinking too. These are just the questions that are popping up in my head. When someone asks you, "Why don't you have kids?" How do you feel about that, and how do you respond?
Well, now, very rarely is that ever asked.
Do they say, I mean, you're not super old, but I'm about to be a grandma. Do they ask, do you have grandkids? I mean, I'm just.
Well, they say what they say. You know, tell me about your family. Now, do you have any children? And I said, no, I don't have any children. I just say, no, I don't have any children. Sometimes I may say I wasn't blessed with the ability to have children. That usually sets people off on, like they don't know how to respond. Say something like that. So I've taken it back a notch. Do you know what I mean? And just say, no, I just don't have any. And then they're like, okay. But it's like opening the can of worms. People don't even want to bridge that conversation because it is truth. I wasn't blessed with the ability to have children. And I'm okay saying that now.
Yeah.
And I usually follow up with what I have, you know, 4-legged daughters, 4-legged daughters, plus I have a husband. So I have plenty of toys all over the house that I trip over every single day. Like,
yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That's good. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share?
That when you're in, and this is even outside of the topic of infertility that we've been discussing, if you ever feel like you're in the deepest, darkest hole, you're being planted there to grow for a reason. And to embrace that fact. Because in order to grow into the person that you were created to be, we do have to be broken. And I believe in God, and I'm a Christian. But in order for him to transform me, I have to walk that path. That took me a long time to be okay with. But looking back at it now, and I'm much more healthier now, mentally, because I know who I am now. And I find my identity in Christ.
Yeah. Do you think
But even that's just been the past year. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say. For me too, like the work that we do with mindset has changed everything about the trauma that we've experienced. That's a huge part of the mindset piece of this fitness coaching, is turning your pain into your purpose, looking at your past trauma with a different perspective and using it for wisdom to move forward to help the next person, because it's all about how we frame it. Then we grow, and we brainwash ourselves with these podcasts that teach us this, and we write our declaration paragraph. And because I didn't even know what it meant to be, oh, well, find your worth in Christ. Well, that sounds lovely, but how do I do that? Yes. Like, I would love to feel that way. And that's literally how I felt. Like, that's good. Yeah, sounds great.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Like, it means nothing. It was like falling on deaf ears.
Yeah,
it's like, I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah. But writing in my paragraph, I find, my security, my peace, my self-worth, and my value in Christ. Just writing it over and over and over and over and over for the past couple of years. Then my brain goes to work to look for the way how I can feel the Holy Spirit and how I can feel God's love. And so I'm looking for ways that he is speaking to me and loving me. And that's kind of where for me, that's connecting my head and heart. And then having friendships like with you and Eliza and the other women in the A team. It's all about perspective. And now we get to use our pain for our purpose. And sharing vulnerably and helping the next person. I don't regret anything I've been through. Like, I'm so grateful, but you have to frame it that way. Or you can stay miserable and a victim for the rest of your life.
And that's a miserable place to be. And I know some people can be watching this and saying, well, that's easy because you're on the other side. You're damn straight. Because I put in the work. Because I put in the work. I dug in. I allowed for myself to blossom in the darkness. I did not hide from it.
Yeah.
I did not hide from it. And community is everything. Everything. Like, when I signed up with you, I thought, I'm just going to get some workouts. Like, if people understood. Like, I was targeted things. Yeah. I was giving you, I just want this, and this. That's it. Yeah. You're like, yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. But this is on steroids. It's like I just wanted to work out, and instead
I'm like, oh no, I need you to trust me. I'm like, I'm gonna give you a good workout, but we're gonna do some mindset stuff too. Because I was on a journey of radical transformation, and I believe God has given me these tools that have helped me. And I wrote in my book, Wounded to Warrior, and I'm like, oh, these can work for everyone. I'm not special. These are tools that can work for everyone. And we're seeing women, Tina and Tammy are watching us. Like Tina just started with us. And man, she's like on fire. And Tammy, her testimony is amazing too, but they trust us and they're doing all the things for mindset that we're asking. And the body will come. It will come. And now we get to share on platforms like this that, yeah, but we're putting in the work and we're fighting for our peace and for our healing.
Yes. And I get healed every single day, even when I don't know I need it with this community. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And we're never alone. It's crazy because we're so much more connected than we realize. We're so we've grown up isolated, being strong, independent women. We can do it. We can support. We can nurture. But there's so many ways in which we connect with each other.
Yeah,
we have people in the community from all over the United States.
I know, it's crazy. I'll have people ask, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm going to have to share a testimonial because my people explain it so much better than me. I literally go blank when people ask, well, what is your program? What does it look like? I'm like, well, it's more than a workout. But yeah, I'm grateful that you trusted me and that the tools have been a part of your healing process with your experience with infertility and with all of my junk too. And so it can work for any, and we're still doing the work every single day.
Wow. It'll never end.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, that's okay because I'm not turning to food and alcohol. I'm writing my paragraph. So I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity using this platform, because I do have such a passion for women's health. And it's a topic that usually isn't discussed. It's not that it's taboo. It's just,
yeah,
we don't want to upset people. We don't really want to talk about it. And one of the things, even just when you asked me about having this conversation with you, it came to me that, I have the ability to change the meaning of the word motherhood. And I never thought about that perspective. And that has significantly helped me even before we got on, because it's like, okay, so I had this predestined way, right, that I was going to live. That was going to be my future. I was devastated. That's not how it happened. But I'm still a mother. I still nurture.
Yeah, you nurture me all the time. and the other women. Yeah.
It's perspective.
Yeah. What is the definition of a mother, right? It doesn't mean that you have to birth a child. Yeah.
And I have the ability to change any word and what it means to me.
Yeah. Like, who said you
We
can't?
have so much power.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. And the women in our group, everybody's been through something. Yeah, Tina, I love that. Your pain is your purpose. And and you're, what I love what Emilet says, you're most qualified to help the person that you used to be. Yeah, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. That's a Wayne Dyer quote.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, we could go on and
It's
on.
very true.
I do. If there's someone that watches this and they're struggling, is it okay to private message you?
Yes, ma'am.
I
Please
just
do.
feel like I need to say that. Like if you are struggling and something like this has happened in your life and you just need somebody to talk to not feel alone. Because I know I'm okay when people have gone through like addiction and other trauma when they reach out to me. I just wanted to know if that was okay with you, if people did that.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, I think we can end with my husband's Wayne Dyer quote. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Thank you for sharing so vulnerably, Sara. I know this is going to help somebody, and actually it helped me because we've never gotten to have this conversation, and maybe it was because it was meant to be had now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for, like, again, I can't thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. It meant a lot.
I love you and I'm grateful for you. So we can talk about anything you want to talk about. And that's with any of my people. If any of my people are watching and they want to talk about something, I think this is the great spot to do it. Who knows who we're going to help. So, okay, it's almost my bedtime. It is my bedtime.
Amen.
I love you. Thank you so much for doing this. And I'll talk to you in the morning. I'm going to see you in the morning on Zoom, 8:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
I got it.
Okay, now like, share, and subscribe for the best in fitness and mindset coaching.